So I'm sure you can make some meaning out of this diagram as of now because of what we have said so far. So just imagine that I brought this diagram in one of your exams as has been done with no name here, no name, no name. And even all these ones had no names. And I asked you to label it. I hope you'll be able to label them. You have two limbs. This is the lower limb and that's the upper limb. Okay, that's good. So what will this one be? This portion. What will it be called? What will be this?
Endocardial cushion.
Cardiac cushion. Very good. And then this will be what? The red one here. The red line is pointing at this dark. What will be the name?
Interventricular septum.
Which type? Which one?
Muscular.
Yes, muscular. Muscular interventricular septum. Where is it developing from?
The muscular ridge of the ventricles.
Okay, the muscular ridge, the median muscular ridge of the floor of the ventricle. Okay, and what is this one? The one on top?
Membranous interventricular septum.
Good. Where is it coming from? What is the source? What is its relationship with the septum premium?
The foramen ovale.
Oh, not really. Not really. As for the foramen ovale, is the space, so there's a space left there. Okay, because the septum secundum has not grown entirely to cover the whole length. But if I say what is the relationship between the septum secundum and septum primum, I expect you to say something. What is the relationship? Or what is the yeah? You can also say what is the difference between the two of them. But again, what is the relationship between them? How do they relate? How do they relate?
Hey, say.
Yeah.
So the septum secundum grows to cover the space between the septum premium, where the lower part of the septum premium serve as a valve.
Yes, you are right, but that is not the relationship. You started well, and I thought you were going to say that. I am expecting a certain word. A word. I mean, the septum secundum's growth. What is the relation? When we say, when you are standing by somebody or a structure, I mean, you are asked what is the relationship between you and the structure, or two structures are side by side, and you are asked what is the relationship. What would you? Uh-huh.
Is it about the size?
One, the size. You have to compare the size. So, what will you say about the size?
So the septum secundum is bigger or larger compared to the septum.
I use a certain word.
Okay,
thicker. A certain adjective. Yes. Said it's thicker. Yes. So when you are relating something to something, you look at the size, the shape, the whatever, the position. So that's one. What other relationship do you have between septum secundum and septum primum?
It prevents blood from the right.
No, not the prevention.
And thus, it grows from it develops the rights of the
Yes,
septum premium.
yes. That is a relationship. It is on the right side. It grows on the right side of the septum premium, as you can see on the screen. It's on the right side. Because everything here is right. Everything here is left. That is why this is the right chamber, right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. So it grows on the right side of the septum premium. That is very important. It doesn't grow on the left side of the septum premium. So note that. Okay. And you should note the foramen ovale and the difference between that and then the septum, ostium secundum or second foramen. Because you want to see something, the foramen ovale. So what is serving as the valve for the foramen ovale when blood is moving from the right atrium to the left atrium? What serves as the valve to control movement of blood from the right atrium to the left?
Secundum.
The lower part of the septum premium.
Very good. The lower part of the septum premium. The child is also trying to answer something. Okay, so circulation in the primitive heart. Circulation in the primitive heart. So if this is the developing embryo, the heart is forming. It has not fully formed, but it has formed and is functional, but not fully functional. These are the aortic arches, so we know that how they are formed and what they will form. Then this is the dorsal aorta, and then you have the anterior cardinal vein. Then obviously this will be posterior cardinal vein. So the cardinal veins are two, posterior and then anterior. Then where the two anterior and posterior meet, they will form a common cardinal vein. Common cardinal vein. And here you have the vitelline circulation. So vitelline vein and vitelline artery, if you have heard of them, this is where they are located. Who can tell me where they are located? What structure is that? What structure do you find a vitelline vein and artery within? What structure is this?
Vitelline duct.
No, it's not a duct. Too. You are very close, but it's not the duct. The duct is here. The vitelline duct is this portion. This portion is the duct. So this rounded portion is what?
Endodem.
Endodem.
Yeah, isn't it yolk sac?
You are close, but yes, it's the yolk sac. It's the yolk sac. So even though there will be some endodermal portion, okay, with the yolk sac, the endodermal portion is just around this area. This whole thing is a yolk sac. Okay, it's yolk sac. And then this is what? What stalk is that? Where you find the left umbilical vein and then the umbilical artery. Where is it also located?
Chorion.
It's what?
Chorion.
No, it's not chorion. It's not chorion.
Syncytium trophoblast.
Syncytial trophoblast. You will find syncytial trophoblast there, but that is not what you are seeing. Syncytial trophoblast, even that.
No, the connecting stalk.
Yeah, it's the connecting stalk. Connecting stalk, the portion of the extra embryonic mesoderm that did not split. and form the connecting stalk, and which will form the umbilical cord. That is this. Okay? Yes. And this portion will become the hind gut, the hind region, and therefore the hind gut portion. Okay, this will be mid gut and all that. So a similar thing is here. So you see that's the umbilical cord where the connecting stalk is, which will lead to where the placenta. That's why when you said syncytial trophoblast, I was just a little considerate, but the syncytial will actually be here, part of the placenta. And I can see that they have labeled it as yolk sac, see, also known as umbilical vesicle. And then that will be the stalk, Whitland stalk here. So for embryology, sometimes you have to be watching a lot of videos and pictures. When you look at pictures and the labeling and videos, you get to understand, because the same thing now will be appearing all the time. Ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm, yolk sac, connecting stalk is the same thing, and what they are going to form. See, so Bethlehem veins return poorly oxygenated blood from the umbilical vesicle. So that is the Bethlehem vein. It's taking deoxygenated blood from the yolk sac towards the heart. Umbilical veins, this one, will carry well oxygenated blood. So when we go here, you see umbilical vein and then umbilical artery. So umbilical vein is carrying well oxygenated. Don't be confused that it's a vein, but it's carrying oxygenated blood, because what happens in the adult is not the same that happens in the embryo and the fetus. Okay? It is when the baby is born that some of the things become normal, the pathways. So umbilical veins will carry well oxygenated blood from the chorion or placenta. Common cardinal veins return poorly oxygenated blood from the body. So that's the body. So you have anterior cardinal, and you also have the posterior cardinal and common cardinal. Okay, they are joining the sinus venosus. So you can see sinus venosus. And sinus venosus will help in the formation of the inferior and superior vena cava. Okay, so usually they will return poorly oxygenated blood from the body to the right side of the heart.